nice to talk to you again. I was going through like reading on your history again, preparing, and I realized, wait a minute, I spoke to her in 2021 for Wu-Tang.
Oh, that's fantastic. And since then, Wu-Tang has had its third season and is now going bye-bye. So it's amazing how time flies. It's really good to see you again too.
Likewise, thank you. But now we get to talk about Wildflower, which it's a touching film that
Mhm.
had this charisma to make it fun, and you get to be a part of it.
I do. I was, actually really honored to be a part of it. We don't usually see films in side of this type of subject, and it's based on a true story with a real family connection with Matt Smukler. It's around his niece, and he's the director and the co-writer. But what I love the most is that it reminded me of my days when I first started film, and we shot very sparingly because we don't have the huge budget at all. So they're using the special effect, hopefully, of casting good actors and trying to use the time they have to make a good story. And frankly, there's a lot of money that can sometimes be invested in any one project, and it can seem so glossy and beautiful and all the things. But this has heart, and it also has a purpose. So I was really happy to be a part of it.
It has a lot of heart, and not to mention the cast. And your role as a social worker is the one that gets to interact with most of the cast. So, what was your experience? Because you had a lot of scenes with one-on-one with several of the castmates.
I loved them. By the way, it's been a dream to want to work at all in any place with Jean Smart. And she's just terrific. Kiernan Shipka is just a fantastic actress. And I actually worked with her before in Swimming with the Sharks. So she was my love interest, if you can believe that. How bizarre to have, to be the social worker of a teenager in one space and be French kissing somebody in another space. It's a long story, but she was seducing me, and it was a more of an adult drama, a thriller. But yeah, no, it's great. And I had worked with Dash Mihok, so I got to work with some of my friends and meet new people. Obviously, Jamie Petrikoff is a friend; he's one of the producers. But the truth is, I thought that they did the very hard thing of casting real actors and with resumes who could bring a lot to the project for all that they've been through. And those don't get made very often. They really don't. So I was really happy to be a part of that.
Especially with a director that's, pretty much did his directorial debut with this film.
For
So,
sure.
how do you, how for you, Erika, because you've been around for a very long time in this business. So, what do you look for in your projects now?
Purpose, a reason to be there. There's a lot of things getting made, frankly, and it doesn't necessarily mean it'll stand the test of time. It's often entertaining and entertainment, but like I said, a project like this moves the the uh, the marker forward, and we hope that with more time, more subjects like this can be taken on. The lead actress who played her mother actually is autistic, and it was interesting working with her. I learned how to work with her while working with her, and she's fantastic. She says, "Erica, I want to be the first Disney princess," and I said, "You will be. You absolutely will be to have be in that space as the first Disney princess." She was phenomenal, and I think that expands what can happen with people who are disabled in different categories, whether it's physically or mentally. And she proved that not only can you cast someone with her with a huge role, you can depend on them. And she was outstanding.
One of the scenes that I really enjoyed, obviously there were a lot of them, but the one with Jackie Weaver in the hospital hallway.
Yes.
Like, what was your experience shooting that scene? Because, I mean, it was phenomenal. It was entertaining. It was very down to earth, very organic.
It was the first scene I filmed. Yes.
Wow.
And she has these really big blue eyes. She's tiny. And when I say that she packs a punch, I had no idea. I'd seen her work, but I had no idea that I would be working with her until I walked in that day. And we became fast friends. She's very generous. She's loud and not afraid. She's courageous. Like I said, it reminded me of the days when I started film when I was 14, and there were more independent films and more independent thinking. And you got to meet the greats. You got to meet people who, just laid on the stage and they do their best no matter what they do. So it was extremely wonderful. And of course, not trying to laugh, it was good. But I really have to tell you how sometimes you feel like you could almost retire. You get so, it's not burnt out, but just like, what does it really matter? What really matter if I do a good job on that film or a great job on that film? You know, it can disappear. And then you walk into a space that reminds you of why you're doing this at all. And frankly, working with those actors were everything. So she was fantastic. And like I said, with Samantha Hyde and obviously with Jacki, I think it was important that Samantha work with the best and see how high up is.
What kind of message do you hope people take away from watching this film? Because it touches a lot of subjects.
Well, we need to realize that there are different families out there. And I think individuals and as communities, we know that. But again, we don't often see them in films. That's why Coda was so groundbreaking and did such a great job and landed. America is not a monolith and the world isn't, and neither are our families and our communities. And we're often only telling the stories of the people who are the most normal, and that is abnormal because there are, I think, a majority of people who deal with physical disabilities, whether it's, like I said, physical and or mentally, more than there are people who don't. And we need to start to expand so we can tell people how to tell these stories. We see Black men getting shot down every day. They're mentally disabled, and people ask them a question, they don't answer fast enough, or they don't understand, or and next thing you know, they're dead. That's unacceptable. So I know that just dealing with it in a social justice way, there are real consequences for us not being able to tell these stories in a space where it's not only safe, but also where we can gain understanding, but be entertained too.
What's going on besides Wildflower that's we're going to be watching on Hulu? Because I know you were just currently in Run the World. Is that correct?
Yes, we just came out with the second season of Run the World. I played Barb Ballard, and people should absolutely take a look at that. We're having a good time there, and that I did with the creator of Living Single. So she brought me in to play that role. Also, along with Wildflower, the film I'm going to be in after this, July 7th, is Earth Mama. And again, that's a first-time filmmaker and first-time cast. I'm the OG on the set, and it's phenomenal. Had a great debut at Sundance and is picking up steam. It's an A24 film. So that'll be July 7th. That'll be huge, I believe. It's phenomenal. The new cast is great. And then also coming in the fall, I have a film with Jeffrey Wright and Issa Rae and what is it? Tracy Ellis Ross and Sterling K. Brown and Leslie Uggams that's coming out. It's directed by Cord Jefferson, and that'll be on MGM. That's going to be a comedy that's amazing. So I'm got a great year for film.
You do. Well, congratulations. This is like one of your, but definitely a very successful year. I mean, Wu-Tang was big. I was excited for it. It took me back to my childhood. I'm 42, so yes, I grew up with Wu-Tang.
Okay, I'm about to say, they good news is they say Wu-Tang is for the children, so there's a lot of generations thereafter, and that's a good thing, and that's the strength of their brand and also motto. They're probably the only hip hop group that their brand identity was so profound that it succeeded them and actually extends their shelf life larger than they could have possibly. But RZA planned that, and when he cast me as the mother, he said, they have 11 children. He said, Erika, you had to be approved by all 11 of my brothers and sisters. And that was a huge compliment. So I walked up on that set knowing that Linda Diggs, who I play, had somehow ordained me to be in that space. And I was very grateful.
Yeah, you fill in some big shoes and you are doing it phenomenally. So keep up the good work.
I will, Nancy, and thank you so much for, being a person that's willing to put your skill set and talent not only to talking about film, but being about creating avenues where we can explore people like me and talk about different things. It really matters. And in my lifetime, I've seen that change dramatically, and it's because of people like you. So thank you.
Oh, I appreciate it. Thank you for those words. I hope to talk to you again for your new projects coming up.
Let's do it. I would love it.
All right, well, take care for now.
Oh, yes. You too. Happy summer.